In case you just tuned in, our guest is Dwayne Siekman, and he's from the Ohio Corn and Wheat Growers Association. He's talking about many aspects of agriculture, which I think is all these aspects are important to us. And I know I didn't know much about them, and I find this very, very educational, and I hope you do too. If you have a question or comment, 740-922-2700, 740-254-9000. And I do hope that this sound, again, I'm trying to figure it out, it must be here, is
Would you like me to call back in?
Well, what we might do is we'll wait until we take the break for commercials, and I'll try and have you call in maybe on a different line, and we'll do that behind the scenes.
Okay,
because
very good.
If it's as annoying to the listeners as it is to me, I probably wouldn't stick around to listen. You have such good
well, let's get that fixed.
You have such good information, so we're going to wait a minute. I have to wait until I get the tech guy in here to do that, but I think we'll try and do that maybe during the break.
Okay.
Anyway, the Farm Bill, the literature that you sent me said that it expires every 5 to 7 years. How long has this? When did this current Farm Bill? When did that start?
This current Farm Bill was in 2008. It was the 2008 Food Security Act, and so it technically ends on December 31st of 2012.
Okay, so we have about a year and a half left on this one.
Yes.
And it says in this literature that there are 38 programs, and they expire at the end. Now, if that would expire and say there was no Farm Bill, there wouldn't be any more programs? I mean, all the programs are tied up in those 38 programs?
There wouldn't be, each of those programs has the funds attached to it, and those funds would expire December 31st, 2012. And so, yes, essentially, if it's not reauthorized, and this has happened before where the Farm Bill is not written until, I think the last 3 Farm Bills have been reauthorized after the previous one expired. So Congress typically will extend that to make sure those programs are available for farm interests, for consumer nutrition interests, to guarantee that, to ensure that they can continue to go. This one's going to be a much different Farm Bill to be written, and we're prepared for it. We feel, much like many citizens and taxpayers across the country, that spending's out of control, and we need to look at ours. And we hope all special interest groups and all industries do the same thing, because we feel this is not an assault on agriculture. More so, we look at it as an opportunity for reform, and reform what we're doing to ensure something that's saves taxpayers dollars, but also offers that protection against those events that are unforeseen that may impact food.
We have heard many different stories that the food, they're not stories, news facts, I guess. Food in the United States, we pay less for food than any other of the major countries in the world. That I don't remember what the percentage is, but our percentage that we spend of our income is lower here because of the plentiful food. And we get into those discussions when we talk about regular food versus organic. You know, that people who buy organic food pay more for it, but it's more in line with what the rest of the world pays. Yeah. And so we have been able to keep food prices down here so that people, I mean, some people, the problem is they have too much food. That's almost become a health problem.
Yeah.
So if the government took its hand out of farming, you know, it seems to have its hand in oil, farming, all I guess commodities are what they're called, things that people have to have. It seems like the government has its hand in all that. If the government would go away and allow the market to fluctuate by supply and demand, how would that affect our food costs and our food supplies?
I think you'd see a lot more volatility than we see right now. Just with anything out, with no regulation whatsoever, and just letting the market dictate. I think you'll see more speculation will drive prices up, because it's all about can I increase my profit level, not only from a non-farm sector to a farm sector. But keep in mind, the United States isn't the only country with farm programs and government programs. Countries around the world all are part of this, and that's many discussions that take place in the World Trade Organization, how to make sure that one country is not supporting their farmers that impacts another country. And Europe, the United States, Brazil, Australia all have these discussions, and I don't think they'll ever be in line with each other. There's always going to be disputes and disagreements. But without any type of government regulation intervention, I think you'll see a more volatile marketplace than we have before. And I think you'll see farms. You won't see farms staying generation after generation. They will transition to other areas.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I assume the weather and all that would have more of an effect too. We are going to take a break for some commercial messages, and we're going to see if we can't get this straightened out, because I know I can't take another half hour of it. I have a jackhammer, a dental drill in my ear the whole half hour, and so if we can't fix it, because I really enjoy this conversation, but we're going to work on it. So for our listeners, we're going to take a short break. You're going to be hearing some commercials, and would you stay on the line, Mr. Siekman, and we're going to see if we can't maybe switch it to another line. I'll have you call back, and we'll see if that helps. Otherwise, I'm going to have to throw in the towel.
Understand.
So we will, if you would hang on, I appreciate it, and our listeners will be right back. Good morning. Welcome back to Dial and Speak. I'm Dr. Andrea Fanti, your host. We're broadcasting live from now until 11 o'clock, and we're having fun with all the technical stuff. Are you there, Mr. Siekman?
Yes.
Oh, you're here. You know what? It is much better on this line.
Oh, excellent.
Much better. It's almost gone. It was, I don't know, I still can hear it, but it's not like it was before. It was like having somebody drilling your teeth for a half hour. That's how it was on these earphones that I have to wear. I can still hear it, but it's not as bad as it was. So let's continue then. We've got a lot we can talk about. If you have any questions or comments, please give us a call. And I'm sure that Mr. Siekman will be able to answer your questions. I hope he will. We're talking about the Farm Bill, and we're talking about Ohio corn and wheat growers. We are not talking about livestock at this time, which, of course, is part of farms. There are farms that grow livestock, but right now our topic is the grains. I guess those are grains that are grown here.
Yes.
And also you had mentioned soybeans, and I'm always interested in all the different nutritional aspects of all these things. Let's go back to the Farm Bill. It is going to expire at the end of 2012, and you're saying that the new one will probably be very different than the old one. Will be different types of programs or fewer programs, or how is it going to be different that you could predict? I mean, you wouldn't know.
You know, if we had our wish list, I think you're going to have more streamlining of programs, consolidation of programs, making sure that there's not overlap in various programs, whether it's commodity programs or conservation programs, and all really to focus on reducing the overall spending of the program. But we want to make sure that the programs that are in place are the programs that are actually the most needed by farmers and by ranchers. I think that's the key. So, our belief, and just what we're hearing from members of the Senate, members of the House, and even the administration, is you're going to see a smaller expenditures for farm programs. And I think that's when I talked earlier about opportunity for reform. It's looking at where's the overlap taking place, and can we eliminate that overlap? And that's what we want to see.
Okay, and so obviously then it's to help farmers, not to help this rich entertainer who bought land so that he can get paid by the government not to plant on it. I mean, I think that's what irritates people. When I heard that, I mean, I still remember it. I wish I could remember who he was, but I still remember the conversation, and it just really irritated me.
Yeah, there's lots of Ted Turner's a big landowner in Nebraska and Wyoming. Scottie Pippen, formerly of the Bulls, received payments as well, and absolutely that's something that has to stop.
So Ted Turner is getting money for not planting?
I couldn't. I don't have the database in front of me. I know he's a large landowner. I don't want to throw Mr. Turner under the bus. And have his operation come down on me. But the celebrities just it's not what the program was designed for. It's not just to buy up land and keep getting paid. That's not what it was originally in the 30s. It wasn't what it was designed for in the 90s, the 2008. It's just there's things in there that allow that to happen, and that's what we have to tighten up, and we can't allow that to happen anymore.
Okay, well, I'm glad to hear about that.